On September 29, 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the National Endowment for the Arts into existence as an official government agency. This not only was a triumph for many who had been fighting long and hard to see the government acknowledge the arts, but it was a win for the culture of the United States. For the past 50 years, the NEA has helped to make the arts a staple of American culture, whether it be the embracement of school plays, an appreciation for the world of music, or even a stronger desire for Americans to understand important literature. It paved a road for the arts to thrive in the United States, and unfortunately, its future doesn't look too bright. On the official arts.gov website, the NEA is described as the independent federal agency whose funding and support gives Americans the opportunity to participate in the arts, exercise their imaginations, and develop their creative capacities. However, what many people don't know about is the long fight that it took for the NEA to even be looked upon as a government agency. If you have any knowledge of the history of the NEA, you'd probably know that LBJ signed it into effect following President Kennedy's drive to make it happen. However, there is one man who is hardly mentioned at all, who had the initial vision for the NEA. The man's name is Robert Breen. Breen was one of the founders of the Federal Theater Project and a strong advocate for the arts. While serving in the Air Force, Breen befriended Robert Porterfield, the founder of Virginia's Barter Theater, who happened to be serving in the Army. In 1944, the two had the idea to start a veterans theater. This sparked a lifelong friendship between the two that eventually led to the existence of the NEA. As a two-man team, the two started the Porterfield-Breen plan. Essentially, their goal was to use the now-defunct American National Theater Academy, otherwise known as ANTA. With persistence, the two managed to grab the attention of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. FDR presented ANTA as a gift to the American people. A few years later, Breen and Porterfield made leaps and bounds when the U.S. government, for the first time, paid to send theater abroad. With this, Breen collaborated with producer Blevins Davis to an international tour of the onstage production of Porgy and Bess. They went on to perform in 29 countries and on 4 different continents. By the end of the Eisenhower administration, a new generation of legislators were devoted to bringing forward national arts legislation. Following was Kennedy's strong support for the arts, and the rest is history. When LBJ finally signed the NEA into existence, Robert Breen claimed it was the happiest day of my life. In the article, The Arts Race, writer Charlotte M. Channing writes, "People like Porterfield and Breen are historical footnotes, and very few histories of the NEA mention ANTA, Breen, or theater's unique advocacy role." For the past 50 years, the NEA has had a great impact on the United States. While the NEA didn't create the arts by any means, it has done what it was made to do from the very beginning: make the arts accessible to Americans throughout the country. Some practical examples today of what the NEA offers is the NEA Shakespeare program, a program that helps bring professional stage productions to 3,900 towns and smaller communities. This program has also given millions of high school students an opportunity to see live theater. Operation Homecoming is a program that allows troops returning home from combat to write in reflection about their experiences serving. This program also reaches to those wounded in military hospitals. The NEA Jazz Master Tour grants have brought music to the classroom, with artists playing at 327 venues from 2008 to 2014. The NEA really has been a huge blessing for all types of communities in the United States. Because of what the NEA has done for these areas, smaller groups and communities are beginning to gain recognition and respect to the art forms they have been able to embrace. Even with the success of the NEA, it has definitely faced difficult obstacles, many of those being our government. Starting with Reagan and going all the way now to the Trump administration, the NEA has had proposed budget cuts for the past 40 years. During the Clinton administration, the NEA faced one of its biggest blows, being cut by 50%. However, what is very frightening is what has been called for in the Trump administration. Trump's budget calls for the elimination of the NEA completely. How does this affect us? Journalist Layla Lalami puts it perfectly, writing, "If you've ever attended a free program at your neighborhood library, enjoyed a summer concert at a public park, caught a movie or two at your town's film festival, read a classic book from the Library of American series, taken a high school or college humanities course, or watched Sesame Street with your children, chances are that you have the NEA, the NEH, or the CPB to thank for it." We do need to keep in mind, however, that the administration's budget request is only advisory, and the decision will ultimately come down to Congress. In wake of the threat to the NEA, National Endowments for Humanity Chairman William D. Adams has resigned in response to the budget's release.